But it truly is an honor to be a grown daughter without a daddy, to sit here amongst all of you men who have stepped up and will continue to step up. And I thank you from the depths of my soul for the 7 generations that I have pulled myself up from the abuse of my father's hand and said, I have to make a change for these little girls who don't have daughters. So when I heard of your initiative, I'm in the process of developing an organization that does just this, reintroduce the family nucleus into our society. And I'm not quite sure how to do that. So with the work that you have done, and so many of you in this room, I thank you. And I'm a young organizer, and I'm taking a stand, and I need help. And I'm finally able to ask for that help. And it was reading the initiative that you were doing and putting into place that has given me the strength to continue on. So I wanted to thank you. I'm not sure if I have a question. Actually, I do.
And let me just say this to you, honestly. Again, no one will ever replace your biological father, but know this. And we travel, many of us, all the time, everywhere. I will tell you what we never see is let somebody mess with a black girl, a black woman, if you got real black men around. So understand, you may have had an abusive father, you may not have had the relationship, but you got a lot of daddies here. And we love you as we love many, many of the sisters out there. And so just look around and you see it, okay?
Thank you. And I know it's in the works. I know it's in the works, and this initiative is moving fast and moving forward. I was wondering if you're looking into putting in place any programs that are working with young girls who have absentee fathers,
yes,
and creating a daughter-daddy dance.
Let me say, one of the things, yes, and one of the things that we did in partnering with the 100, and we hope with the congressmen and others who are coming on board is, as I said, this thing has moved so quickly. I mean, I can't really say truly how we could have envisioned where we are today when we started it. So as we build our network and we build our family, one of the things that clearly we've talked about is there are some women, as Patty said, who will just simply not have their biological father in their lives. So there's certain delicate issues you have to do when you're introducing a man to a young girl and this and that. But we're going to find some way to be able to bridge that gap and bring that. It will not happen tomorrow, but certainly as we work with others, we're going to establish that and find a way. All right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. And however I may be of assistance in moving that forward.
Well, please send us your information on the website. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you, hon.
How you doing? My heart beats fast because the sister already cried for me. Excuse me. Will all the 100 black men stand up? All the 100 black men in here stand up. Now let me say this here. I've been a 100 black men since '92, and I'm from New York City. I lost my pen on the way coming over here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you see in black men doing what they do for the good of who they are and what they are to be about. Okay, we are who we are. We say what we are. We say what we do. We come in our organization being men, strong, vibrant, doing what we have to do. I am sorry for the misconception of sisters having what they think black men are not, but we are the educated ones, the doers of what we know best. And I applaud you and I thank you. So sisters, brothers, look around, for we are what you don't have in your lives. We are what you should be having in your lives.
We are,
okay? My question to the panel is, Courtney Van, my brother, I love you. Ed Gordon, I love you. Courtney
what's
Van,
your question? I love you too, but what's your question?
Courtney Van, the question is, we know what we have to do as young men coming up in lives. If we don't, then we seek out what they are. I see a book here.
What's your question?
The question is at hand. What are we to do consistently, okay, as our brother, Barack Obama, come into office?
Doc, you've got to get to your question.
No,
what's your question?
The question is that. What are we continuously to do as black men, knowing that Barack Obama is coming into office? And he already put it out there to you. Being a father, being a man.
You know, whether Barack Obama's coming into office or not, I think we consistently have to try to be better. You know, part of what we can't do is build up the Superman image of black men. We have warts, we have faults, you know, we're not perfect. We need to stop trying to be perfect. We learn to do this better every day. My daughter is 10. Every day I'm learning something new about being a father. Every day I'm learning that I was stupid the day before. And so part of it, I think we just have to strive to be better. And if we strive to be better, we'll all be better fathers, whether we have a biological daughter or if we're being a surrogate father. But don't put the burden of Superman on your back. We need to understand that this is the toughest job I have ever had in my life was when I became daddy. My professional career has been easy.
One of the other things I think he's suggesting is that how the presidency of Barack Obama will affect black men in general. Well, I think we know that public policy affects the lives of everyone. And with a black male crisis and a prison industrial complex that consumes black men, I think that some of the things we've seen him do already give us hope that it will continue to assist black men. In Illinois, when he was in the Senate, I had the privilege of working with him to pass legislation for videotaped interrogation, which black men are victimized with for the most part. As well, we were able to have $100 million set aside for an ex-offender program, and the study that has come back has shown it has reduced recidivism by nearly 50%. So my point is, public policy is very important, and so we must make sure that we elect the right officials. And I think with our brother having had that background, we know we are electing the right person who will help fathers, but it's not just based on his color, it's based on his history of demonstrating the type of public policy.
And one of the things that we see with Barack Obama, what we're trying to do here, just in image, I talked very early on at the outset of this, the importance of image. And some of y'all in this room will fall in this category. Before he won Iowa, to many of you, he wasn't black enough.
Go ahead.
Oh, God.
You understand? But now you see young little brothers saying, Barack Obama, they got the T-shirt on, Harvard comes into play now. The presidency, which many of us at a certain age never believed we'd see, is now in play for these kids. So the idea of showing people how to be fathers, how to parent, how to be present, even if you're not with the woman, the image of it is now in play. So that's really what this is about. Changing the dynamic of the game, changing what we are going to accept as manhood, changing what we're going to accept in our friends, and being dynamic enough, as we have seen with this historic run, to say, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. Because I'm going to be the first to tell you, when I talked to him 2 weeks before he announced it, he said, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I thought, oh, that's good. Go on, brother, that's all right, all right. Had no clue. So that's part of it. Thank you, sir.
I just wanted you to answer the question.
Thank you, though.
Hello, my name is Harold Tyson from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I have actually two questions.
You got one, though, Harold, today.
Only one?
Yes, sir. So pick your best one.
Pick the best one.
All right.
All right, well, this is actually for Judge Mathis.
All right.
My wife and I, we have a human service agency in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we offer intensive in-home services for families, for youth and their families. And for the most part, most agencies, when we deal with young men that are in homes where either their grandmother or their mother is raising them, we oftentimes, most agencies, immediately connect them with strong black males. Well, we have the same epidemic for young girls. And oftentimes we neglect to put them with a strong male figure, and immediately we put them with a strong female figure. Well, in their home, they already have that female figure, whether that be grandmom or mom. So my question is, how do you feel about connecting these young ladies to what is actually missing, which is the male figure in their life?
Well, that's a complicated question, because I would say that most of the young men who learned from surrogate fathers is by way of a mentorship. And I think it's pretty complicated having a man mentor a girl.
Okay.
And I quite frankly can't answer that question. I'm not going to.
But brother, here's the biggest dynamic that we have found. It is, let us be real, there are only a couple little kids, and I will keep this as clean as I can. There's the sexual dynamic of it. Okay. And it's very difficult to introduce a man that you don't know into this relationship.
That's why I was
so one of the things that
the judge.
one of the things though that we're trying to do with the whole mentoring project and program is if you can do a group dynamic that introduces your daughter, you, and a group of folks, then the dynamic is not the same as you just adopting a girl. So, as I said, these are things that we've been grappling with. How do we do it? Because we're feeling the need for that from the emails we get. So I would say to you that the best object there would be try to introduce a group dynamic in that.
Excellent.
All right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name's Quincy Enoch, and I'm not really anything special. I'm just a 25-year-old African-American that wants some advice.
You're special, brother.
I just want some advice on how to raise my daughter. I have a 4-month-old daughter. I was raised by a single mother, but my father wasn't my life. But because he was an orphan and he moved from foster family to foster family, he had no idea how to be a father. So he's a very good man, and I love him to death, but he wasn't that good a father. Mm-hmm. So now I have a 4-month-old daughter at home. And I find myself sometimes in a situation where I might catch myself a little bit slipping, I guess, if you will, with the way that I am, trying to nurture my daughter and be there for my daughter, because I don't understand the emotional affection part of the relationship that I need to have with her. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, where do I go? Because I love my father, but this is not something I can talk to him about. Mm-hmm. So, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I look to try to understand what type of relationship that is and how it should develop?
Yeah, that's what
Are you in church?
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Go to your church. Mm-hmm. You go to the men that you know in your church, mm-hmm. and you go to men who you see that they have a very strong relationship with their family. Right. And you ask the same question you're asking us now, you ask them, because it's thank God for you. Thank God that you have the courage to say, I don't know. I want to know. That's the problem, is that we won't say we don't know. And as the gentleman said to us earlier, fatherhood is learned. So you have to be taught and mentored to be a good man.
But some of it, I'm sorry, Courtney, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No, some of it is what we heard from Patty's story with her father. Often we feel like it's got to be some big thing that we're doing, some magical thing that I've got. Sometimes it's simply the time. Look at just the time he spent with her and what she became and crafted in no way, shape, or form like, and this is not a knock on him because I think in spite of what the media says about him, he and his wife did a wonderful job. Look at what Richard Williams has been able to mold with spending time with Serena and Venus.
Absolutely.
All right, and much of that is he didn't know a damn thing about tennis.
Okay.
He said, but you know what? These girls are athletic. I can learn tennis. And he just spent the time. Yeah. Greg shared a story with me with his first daughter. He said, had I had a boy, I'd have known what to do. I didn't know what to do with the girls. I took them to the movies all the time. He said, that killed 2 hours for me. Sometimes, man, it is simply just being there and being you. Right. Sometimes the best days I've ever had with Taylor, my birthday, August 17th, Taylor and I just spent the whole day together just doing absolutely nothing, just running around. I can't tell you what that day meant to me. It was better than if they had thrown me apart. We spent the entire day together. And it ain't that deep, man. No. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Yep. We already see what shines in you. You just deliver some of that to your daughter. She's going to be fine.
There you go.
She's going to be fine. May I just do something before I go to the back? Well, I wanted to bring another friend of mine who many of you know as the Black Eagle, Joe Madison, who is an icon on talk radio, who joins us here in the front row. Joe, I just want to get a sense from you, if you will, who talks to the nation. When you hear what you've heard here, just cut it on, Joe, at the bottom. It should go on.
Congressman couldn't work it.
All right, then just take Greg's. All right. So,
I don't even need it.
but Joe, what I want you to do is take us out of this room and get a sense of what you hear as you talk to people.
I have been in tears since I've been sitting here.
In America, we are culturally conditioned to believe that white is superior and black is inferior. And the manifestation, no, don't clap yet. The manifestation of that cultural conditioning is that we undervalue, underestimate, and marginalize who we are. The problem that black men have is that the world, Patty, has culturally conditioned us to believe in our own marginalization. We have undervalued ourselves, and we have underestimated ourselves. And when you start talking, Ed, about culture, you're talking about everything. How you dress, Italian wool suit, how you eat, German food, I mean, shoes you wear, classical music, the hair, your religion. Well, look what they did to Jeremiah Wright. It's cultural conditioning. And so we must recondition how we see ourselves. Exactly. Men, I will put it, you said it, and I think you go over, and I'll just go real quick. You got to man up. You got to man up. My first daughter saw her one time after she was born, 18th birthday. She said, I need to see you. She was graduating from high school. I was on a march across the country doing voter registration about this time of year. I left 100 marchers, went to her graduation, sat with her, we've talked, and we have now an adult relationship. You got to man up. You got to man up. Your daughter may not accept you. And Greg, I'm going to say something to you, brother. This is a Detroit Mafia thing. I'm from Detroit. I knew him, it's been 30 years. When he was a child, a kid. I knew Greg when he was a thug, a child, a kid. I had met you. I was never a thug. My mother and father made sure of that. But I'll be damned, I thought he was working. Hell, I was watching him last night, man. I'm here. If I was on the show, I wouldn't be here. Man. I'm sitting there going, that's a bad brother. And I hope they let you keep saying them suits you. The suit you saw me in is the one I got on. Don't hate. God, don't hate. You were talking about suits a minute ago. Hey man, you got to man up. And let me tell you about Patty Austin. Patty Austin saved my life. I was a year, 2 years ago. I weighed 155 pounds more than I weigh now. And I saw an article on Patty Austin, met her the very next day. And somebody said, you know who, my wife said, you know who this is? I looked, no, I don't know who that is. That's Patty Austin. Fine as she can be, man. But yeah, she's always fine. So I'm going to close by
thank you, Joe Madison.
Guys,
don't hate it. Yeah, they hating. Man, look, man up. Man up. I'll close by saying Walter Fauntroy does something that I've never seen another man do. And that was, every time he sees his daughter, his adopted daughter, he says, how is the prettiest woman on the world doing today? And he says that to every young girl he is introduced to. And he gets down on eye level. How is the prettiest young woman on earth doing today?
And as we said to the, thank you, Joe Madison, as we said to the young man who was standing there before, it can honestly be that simple. that really springboards that young lady to understanding what that's about. The congressman just got, I think we deal with that $700 billion again, but he just got a little note on his phone to say that we got a 15-minute vote, so we're going to let him just say some things, and then we'll get right back into it.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you so very much. Hello, everyone. Hello. I know I was called out to answer a question, or tried to answer it earlier, and I didn't get an opportunity to greet you, but I'm sorry. Usually this time during the ALC, we work it out. The leadership need to be Democrat or Republican to allow the members to the Congress to stop early on Thursday, and then we have time to spend with you. This time around, as you know, we have an economic crisis going on in the country, and just to give you an update, everyone, what's happening, we're not going to vote on the 700 some odd billion tonight. We're going to do it, we're going to break, this may be the last vote or close to the last vote to allow John McCain to go down to Mississippi and letting this thing simmer. I know that there are going to be several debate watch opportunities tonight. I know the 100 is doing something, we're doing something here. They're all over town. Find yourself, the streets should be empty. You should be in front of that television, because what may happen tomorrow in Congress or on Sunday in Congress may depend on what's said tonight, because one of these two men are going to be the next President of the United States. So I say that just to give you that update. The clock has started, so I have to be very quick. First of all, for me to be a daddy, there has to be a mother. My wife, Judge Leslie Meek, right here, stand up. Thank you. She's a judge here in D.C. I got a judge, too. All right. I got a straightforward. Big. That's what I was about to say. We need to talk, because, I mean, she can deal with him. She deal with me. My mother-in-law back there, Lois Johnson. Stand up, mother-in-law. Lois Johnson, yes. I'm working on my politics now. Let me just say very quickly, I want to thank this panel. I mean, it's really breathtaking. Y'all need to give them a round of applause. You know, we stand here, and I was sitting next to my good friend, President of 100 Black Men, Albert Dotson, and we became, you know, I don't know, I mean, how I feel about him. He's a father, you know, we know each other, his wife, his children. The fact that we were able to come together, I mean, we met, I talk to a lot of entertainers, they come around the office because everyone has a cause, and they're always talking about collaboration. And we collaborate. We, over a voter registration form, after Minister Farrakhan called the Million Man March, Al and I sat down, along with the young lady, Yolanda Cash Jackson, said, let's register 30,000 voters. Just something simple like that. We started working on that. He became the president of 100 Black Men. I became the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. I'm sitting here, and my pastor's sitting over here with the first lady of the church. I said, you know, God is really something. We don't even know what's in store for us. He's just lining us up. And Ed was calling earlier, because I've been running around and said, man, we need to talk about this thing before the forum. And so as I was sitting here reading the briefing, I was personally moved to even think about how we can come together on this and be able to do the things we need to do around the country, of just like that brother who was 25 years old who asked that question because I was him. Amen. You follow me? My daughter came, 26, 27? I didn't know what to do. You follow me? My dad couldn't tell me. He's passed on. So these are the kind of questions we have to go open mic on. And we do need to talk to people about it. And so I'm glad that we were able to have this forum today, because we can't legislate morals and character, but we can definitely work together and network and figure this thing out. And if we move this piece city to city and get the kind of people behind this movement, then you can see the kind of positive change that we're looking for without anyone having to pass a resolution or a bill or anything like that. We can make it happen. So I want to thank you, honor your presence here today. I'm so glad that the mic was opened up for so many minutes for people to put their questions out. I got on my phone and I opened up the site. It looks good. Have a YouTube piece on it. Check it out. Go on it. figure out how you can be a part of this great movement. So I want to thank the panel. Al, brother, I love you. I love the 100 Black Men. Brother got up and had him stand up. But I want to thank you. And I may not make it back before you finish, but we are voting. We are holding the line on this. What you may hear that's going on in the White House or what have you, you know, they're masters at putting out perception that we're there. And as when the SNL piece went down, we had the brothers and sisters from Wall Street come talk to members of the Black Caucus on how they were left behind, even though you had a minority participation piece in there. We've met with the black bankers, also with the investment people that are there. So they are coming in. There are meetings, major meetings going on. So if we're not around as much as you would like for us to be around, this is what we're doing. Our staff is over there working on our behalf. So we're not going to leave you behind. Don't leave us behind, okay? Right. God bless you.
Let me do this very quickly as you folks have been kind enough to continue to stand. I'd ask that you get your question out quickly so we can at least clear the folks that have been standing, because we only have about 13 minutes left. And I want to thank you guys for staying and being a part of this. Often you come and the room has a tendency sometimes to kind of peter out, and I think the fact that so many people stayed really speaks to what this is about and what we need to do in our community. So I just want to thank you for that. So, young lady, please.
Hi, my name is Sharon Abdullah Ali, and I'm here through fate. What I would like to know, you have to forgive me, as an educator in the inner city schools, I am in the environment where kids come to school, parents been shot, dad been murdered, mom is incarcerated, and we as educators try our best. And when we try, what happens? Administrators is shut down. You cannot discipline these kids. If I, as a teacher, you know, discipline a kid and say, you need to take 5 minutes, I have to deal with a parent coming to the school to attack me. I have no rights as an educator. And I just want to know what we as a community can do for these children. The statistics is the way it is because the issues we have start from where I am, in the elementary school. I've worked in the inner city school, I've worked in the juvenile center, and it's sad to say that the kids I taught in first grade.
Sure. All right, let's see if someone can tackle that for you. What can be done?
I study this issue a lot because, in my opinion, the root cause of much of what we're seeing with our young people is failed education system and inability to compete in the workforce area. What we see in urban school districts around the country is teachers that lack the same amount of training. We see substandard curriculums, and we see those who are being marginalized, the Latino and the African Americans. And we tend to point the finger at the parents for the most part. And in many instances, it is their fault. However, what are we going to do? We're going to let the child fall through the cracks and continue to point at the parent? No, we have to get involved in their lives. We have to, one, advocate for public policy that retrains our teachers, not only for them to be more competent, also retrain them, unfortunately, to become social workers. And we also need some comprehensive care. In Detroit, we had an effort where we had a high school that provided comprehensive health care. The child who is pregnant could go there and receive comprehensive health care. The young man who had behavioral problems could get counseling. All the many things, after-school programs, preschool programs. If we can't rely on the government whom we pay our taxes to and whom have contributed to this condition that we're in, then we can rely on the hub of our community. And the hub of our community is the church. And we must influence our clergy to open up the doors of those churches every evening, not just on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Open up the doors for our young people can go there and learn how to survive with tutoring, education, and other things that they might have. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right, Greg.
I just have, in regards to what you say, like I said, I'm in the environment. And one of the analysis I was able to create is that you have students who are teen students, and you have the regular general ed and the ESE students. However, when you departmentalize, you get to see the opportunity where the teen teacher is teaching the same students.
But here's the reality, ma'am. Here's the reality of where we are. And I hate to cut you off, but
no,
I really
that's
have
fine.
to.
I just
but here's
want
the reality.
to
I understand, and we see your pain. But here's the reality of what we have to do in terms of redefinition. I've been doing these things for decades now, and I've heard the same thing. We come to these meetings, we go, yeah, all right, let's do the thing, and then we leave and we don't. Which is one of the reasons that I started Daddy's Promise, because I said to myself, well, what are you doing? So my thing is, if we don't take it beyond this room, shame on us. It's the same thing about Obama. Most of us never thought we'd live and see this day come. So I'm not saying vote for him just because he's black, but if you believe in him and then you don't vote, shame on us. So it's the same thing. If we don't clean up these school systems by demanding money for, if you can find $700 billion to keep Wall Street on, you better darn sure find some money. We need to take this game over, and that's part of what we're going to have to do here. I got to stop you, ma'am. I got to stop you. I got to stop you. Thank you, though.
Can I count on you, though?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon for having this forum. I'm Hillsborough County Commissioner Kevin White from Tampa, Florida, and I don't have a question. I just have a statement for Judge Mathis. I'm from a single-parent home as well. Never saw my father growing up. I am now the father of 2 children. My daughter is a freshman at Florida State University. I did not have a relationship with my father until I became an adult. I just want to tell you, we were talking about forgiveness earlier. It was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do, because my father was good and he was there for everyone but me and my mother growing up. But in spite of, I had that surrogate in my life that helped me and mentored me to be what I am today, the father I am today, the husband I am today, and the politician that I am today. But not forgiving, hatred and bitterness will eat you alive. Exactly. Don't become bitter, become better. Be the bigger, be the better person. Let him know that you forgive him. And then your life will be so much better. Plus, your children will be taking the example from you. So do that, and let's take the stereotype of dysfunctionality off of our race and the family unit as a whole.
He passed on in 1995, unfortunately. He passed on in 1995, unfortunately, and I didn't have an opportunity to do that because I had never seen him up until that point. And interestingly enough, my sisters, whom I had never met in my life, they knew of me. They came to my show. My assistant came back about 3 or 4 times and said, Judge, you have some sisters, keep calling. I said, I don't have any sisters, that's some kooks. And next thing I know, he said, Judge, your sisters are here. I said, what? I said, bring them on back. I'm going to see who this is. Sure enough, they knew my whole history. They knew the projects I had grown up in, and they talked about how they and Daddy, up until I was 3, used to come and pick me up from the projects and take me here and there, and da-da-da-da. I said, well, okay, well, did you all know when I ran for judge that it was me? Oh, yeah, we knew it was you. I said, well, number one, why did you help? I said, but then I said, and they said, oh, yeah, and Daddy knew too. I said, really? Yeah, he was in the hospital, and he kept asking us if we ever went to your campaign headquarters to find out if we had met you. And so he died knowing that I had been elected judge, but he suffered the same pain, I suspect, that I did. And it's a two-way street. He, being the elder and being the father, I think, as some have suggested, he should have come to me. I go to my daughters when it's time for them to forgive me, and I'm encouraged now to even do that much more. And those are the only people I might forgive, my daughters and everybody else. I don't know. Pray for me, Commissioner. Pray for me.
Look, he done moved to Los Angeles, but I cannot take Detroit out there. All right. Yes, sir. Very quickly, guys, because we literally have 5 minutes. I want to get the 3 questions in. Very quickly, sir.
State Senator Antoine Thompson from Buffalo. I just wanted to say just a couple of quick things in terms of questions. One, if you could take this forum to places like Buffalo and other cities across the state. We'd love to bring you to Buffalo. Secondly is the issue, there are some federal policies that encourage the dysfunction of the black family, where they actually reward women and families for being separated. That's been going on since the 60s. We have to fix that. Secondly, the issue is child support is one of the things that really discourages a lot of black men, and there's a lot of things that happen in the court system that perpetuate that problem. So we have to find out a way to address that at the state level, and that's something I'm looking to do in New York. And I will conclude by saying that I believe that we have to take what you're doing as a national movement. It has to be a national campaign that we take everywhere throughout the country if we're going to change it. Well, it's just that serious.
Just so you know, thank you very much. And just so you'll know, we are taking it on the road. We're going to churches, universities. We've got one more panel, thanks to Pam, that I believe we're going to do maybe in Los Angeles. But one of the things that we're doing is taking on the road. We're already scheduled for Philly, Atlanta at Morehouse. We're going to Dallas with T.D. Jakes' church, and we're continuing to grow this. We are going to be the Pied Piper for this thing, and what we need is people who, get on board with us, hit those websites, because numbers are the metrics that show the folk who pay for all this that you're there. So we just ask
that you stay with us. Can I just offer one suggestion for you in terms of the campaign concept of it?
Quickly,
is that just if you think of the campaign the way it was in the 60s and et cetera, I think it has to be that intense with billboards, the websites.
All right, I'm going to call you for your check.
Okay.
All right, doctor, you got it. All right, but listen, I don't mean to make light of it. We're trying our best, and as I said, it's only been about 4 or 5 months, but we're going to do the best we can do to make that happen. Yes, sir.
How you doing? My name's Usama. I'm just a concerned black man. One of the hot-button issues that's been over the past couple of years, as we all know, due to a myriad of reasons, African Americans are vastly influenced by the media and entertainment field. With all the billions of dollars we bring for these corporations, yet we only control 1% of that sector. What can us as a people, especially African American, the leaders in the entertainment and media sector, do to help resurrect this negative imagery that has been a cancer for our people, that is vastly affecting our community, and leverage this powerful medium to build a powerful block in our community?
All right, and let me just say, we don't even own 1% of it, to be honest with you. We do not own 1% of it.
Don't go to those movies. Exercise your power. Do not go. Don't support them. Don't support those CDs. Don't support them. But when we support them, when we watch that television program, we let those executives know, oh, we know black people.
But, I mean,
and conversely, with the positive ones, go see them.
Yeah, and that's what we have to do.
And turn the TV off.
Turn it off.
I mean, part of it is exercise editorial control in your household. When my daughter turns on the TV, I know exactly what she's watching.
Right.
So there's no choice in our house about it's like if Daddy doesn't approve of it, the TV's not on. So you've got to exercise that control in your house.
Patty, you wanted to say real quick?
No, artists need to man up too. They just got to stop. You were talking about LL Cool J. His new record is called "Lick My Lollipop." So,
Oh boy.
Did he have to make that record? No. Could he do something positive? Yes. And I think if you're using your creativity to put a negative message out or a low down dirty message, well, that's kind of a waste of the gift.
Thank you, sir. Last young lady. And did y'all see Greg? See that hustler thing? He was like, look.
He was talking to his daughter.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. The final question here.
My name is Jean Casey, and quiet. I'm Jean Casey. My concern is what we really need for children is we need parent training. I heard someone talking about it on the panel. Yeah. The lack of parent training is our problem with our children. How can we get parent training all over the city?
Ms. Casey, let's be honest about that. Let me be honest about that.
Let's be honest.
Okay, let's be honest about that. Now, who do we actually designate to do the training? At the end of the day, no, seriously, think about it. At the end of the day, you learn your training from your mother and father and the people around you. I'm not sure that we could ever really fully legislate parental training to a certain degree, because there are some things that you agree with, some things, it's one of those things that really is so personal. Now, I think there can be parental classes. I think that there are certainly things that can assist you and help you. I'm not sure how you mandate the fact that you have to go there, but here's what I do know. We can mandate much of that, as we're trying to do here societally and communally, and demand that we treat each other, not just parents and children, but each other with respect. When you see, you know, the kids, and we all tell the jokes about it, but you seen them kids at the mall? Boom, grab that little Negro up, and because he looked like the daddy, you're mad at him, and you're yelling all these things that we laugh about, the comedians joke about. There comes a point where we're going to have to say in our community, you know what? That's really unacceptable. Yeah. That's really unacceptable, and I think that's probably the first line of parental training. All the things we've laughed about, kidded each other about, you know, your uncle, your favorite uncle, oh, here he comes, all of that, we have to accept that, because most of the time, frankly, we know the right and wrong of it. It's whether or not we end up doing it. So to close, I would say to you, I agree with you in theory. I'm not sure how we legislate that, but certainly that's something that we should look to, and we hope that this initiative will move forward. Let me say to this panel, first of all, I thank them because all of them are very, very busy folks, and they took of their time and effort and have done this without asking for anything. And I can tell you, in our industry, that does not happen. And so I say it happens from the heart with these four people, and I would ask you to please give them a large round of applause. I thank the 100 black men for this forum, and we want to bring up Al to close out everything. I thank you so much. Al?
Can I say one more thing?
No, wait, but before you all leave, just a second, before you all leave, I just want to say one thing to the panel and to Ed. You know, one of the things that Kendrick mentioned is that we have to leave this room and go back out into the community. And when you went into the basketball court, the men are the 100 black men are those men who are doing the work today. So men of the 100, please thank this panel, but more importantly, go back out in the community and make sure we continue to mentor. Thank you. Also, just so you know, the bus will meet you all at the same place that it dropped you all off.
How you doing? I gave my card to your folks. I'm going to go to your website. I need to. You ready to go? Okay.
I just want to say goodbye to Courtney.
Right. When we do this Father Daughter thing, I got some people from Detroit just come on down. Okay, so we'll make sure that we will follow up.
All right.